All right, another Toronto Blue Jays trade that should cap off the deadline. We'll talk about this latest one. A lot more to come on tomorrow's episode of the podcast, but join me and Carter First live right here on YouTube.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Another Blue Jays trade. This one now coming from Mitch Bannon on Twitter. Breaking, Blue Jays have acquired Luis Varland and Ty France from the Twins. So, interesting move there. We're going to go over all of it right now. I'm just sort of posting everything as it comes in. Leave your thoughts, feelings, comments down below. We'll go into this one. Carter's going to join us in a couple seconds. We'll break down this trade. But we want to hear from you guys. Now that the deadline's pretty much over, this is it for the Blue Jays. This is what they got. And there were some good things, but I think a lot of us all wanted more to come. Some of these moves did hit. Shane Bieber, I absolutely love. Some people I've seen don't. I don't get it. More is understandable. I think we all figured that this team was going to go and make some big deals and push forward and have a team that can go compete with any team in the NL. But I mean, there were a lot of other teams making a lot of good moves. But just talking about this one specifically, I guess I'll just dive into it here. Because thanks, David. I appreciate it. New subscriber, enjoying the content. We appreciate that a ton because, it's a little bit of an interesting time here for the Toronto Blue Jays. And I think they're fans as all of us because we sort of expected them to make a huge push here. But I do want to go over Luis Varland's statistics from this season. Right now, 3-3 with a 2.02 ERA in 51 games. He's got 17 holds, 49 innings pitched. He's given up 3 home runs. Again, the statistics look pretty decent with a 230 average and a 110 whip. So this is a guy that I'm actually excited. I think this does a piece. It added bullpen arms. That's something we have asked for. We got 2 guys in Sir Anthony Dominguez, plus Luis Varland as well. Ty France, it's fine, I guess. I think if you were talking about a bat that you wanted to get, I don't know that Ty France is necessarily what you want. And I think to give up Roden, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. Let me know what you guys think. AJ Morash from the line here goes, terrible trade deadline. And you know what? I don't know if it was terrible. I think the moves they did make were okay, but there needed to be more. I really do believe that. And I think there are a lot of other teams right now in a position that are thinking they absolutely won this trade deadline. And I think as Toronto Blue Jays fans, we can't come away from this saying that. And that is sort of a huge problem. As we continue, we will talk more and more about this trade. Carter's going to join us right away. Leave your guys' thoughts, comments down below. Obviously, I'm going to get to all of them. I'm just trying to upload some stuff here as we move through. I was getting a lot of texts from a lot of buddies today that were just saying, yeah, this is not enough. And I can't really argue with them. I think it's frustrating. It's frustrating as a fan when you see this team doing so well for there not to be enough done. It's just some more texts and comments coming in. Dynamic 905 definitely needed more. Sorry, Jays traded for Ty France. Yeah, exactly. Varland, starting pitcher. You know what? This season, he has been going through a lot. He was coming out of the pen a little bit. Just a lot going on here with Varland. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to make sure I get Carter into this as well. He should be joining in about 2 seconds here. So this season, 51 games, 49 innings. He is a relief pitcher. You needed relief, guys. That's one big thing that we came into this trade deadline, is looking for relief pitchers to fill out this bullpen. Is it enough? I don't necessarily know that this team got good enough pieces to round out this. Yes, it makes the bottom line a whole lot better. I think that you're way happier with Dominguez and uh, Varland, but it's just not enough. And Ty France, I don't know. Out of the pieces you could have gotten out of all the bats out there, I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried to say the absolute least. Um, Again, we'll continue on. Um, Carter will be here in a couple minutes. I'm just going to keep going through the text here. Not getting a good bat will come to haunt them. Pitching pickups are pretty good. First place, and your bat pickup is Ty France. Yeah, that's where I'm at. The Ty France of this all really makes me frustrated. We're going to talk about the Wagner bit of all of this as well, because but that'll probably be on tomorrow's episode because it's not huge, but it's I think frustrating for a lot of fans, just because it was a move that came. Don't get me wrong, this move came afterwards, but right at the 25 minutes left in the deadline, and that's the move that comes down. Why is that something that this team was looking at? I'm not mad at the move specifically. Maybe they really like the catcher. Maybe they wanted catching depth. Okay. Why was that a move that was being even looked at right now? I don't know. So again, we'll continue on here. Hopefully Carter will join us because I'm trying to get stuff posted as well for everybody, but I'll continue on through the comments. If Bieber's good, this is a great deadline. I agree. That's the big move that we're all going to hang our hats on right now. If Bieber is good, then we're laughing, right? Because then he comes in and that's the ace of the day, right? And he's the guy that you throw out there game one. This move was a fixing the bottom line move, in my opinion. You get a bat that you can use in Ty France, probably off the bench, maybe in certain situations, sure. A lot of people like Roden. Yeah, a lot of people did, but I don't know. I don't think this is a move that's blowing anybody away. So again, I'm going to continue on the comments because I've been sort of going all day on trying to figure out what the move is going to be. And I was expecting a Quan. There were lots of other guys. Jax. Those are two guys I was expecting. I thought, okay, this is going to be a move made late in the day, but they were going to get one of those guys. And instead, this is the move that happens. I'm not completely disappointed. I'm not ready to throw anything at the wall saying this is a terrible deadline because I don't think it was terrible. I think when you put this up against the other teams and what they have done, it makes me a little bit more nervous. This is the time, and I'm going to go back to a quote here from Jose Bautista. It's almost like being at war and running low on ammo. And the next thing you know, here comes like a little parachute in a crate, and it lands right next to you, and it's full of ammo. This didn't feel like one of those parachutes coming in. The Bieber move, for sure. If he's back and he's good, unbelievable. That is a huge get. Dominguez, I really liked personally. It seems like he's found his command a little bit more. Will that stay? I don't know. But there just seems like I said I wanted a bat that was going to come in here and change the game. And I know that wasn't the big look that we were all looking for. It was the pitching. But I think adding one more big piece, like a Jax, like a Bednar, like some of these guys, I think would have been massive. And I think we knew when the whole Joe Ryan stuff was going on, that we weren't going to get him, right? I think that as soon as Bieber came in, we're like, okay, we got our guy. Done, right? That's great. But I was expecting another complimentary move. I'm going to just continue on reading through here. But yeah, keep the comments coming. Yeah, Momo says the Blue Jays did good. I agree. I think they did good. I just think that there needed to be more. And I'm not at the point where I'm saying this sucks, this team doesn't have a chance. No, I don't think that at all. I just think that more could have been done. And that's a bad taste I didn't want to leave with at this trade deadline, because I was very excited. This morning, when the Bieber trade got announced, I was over the moon. I thought, this is great. This is a guy that's going to come in and possibly be your number one, depending how Kevin Gausman continues the season. There you go, right? You got your 1-2 for game 1 and 2 of the starters. Clement looked terrible on first base the other day. Ty's a good pickup. Yeah, but I mean, Vlad's going to play first base most of the time. You wanted an extra bat. Ty France, okay, fair enough. Mike says Jays got what they needed. I agree. I think they did. They filled out the positions that they needed to get. We said we needed 2 bullpen pieces and we needed a starting pitcher. And really, at the end of the day, that was done. They got those moves. The problem is that I think the bullpen pieces you added weren't going to be guys that take over in case Yariel Rodriguez struggles, in case Jimmy Garcia, who knows what happens with him, right? These are guys that are going to be 7th, I would say 7th, maybe 6th inning guys in the playoffs. And if that's the case, that's great. And if that's what they were looking for, that's great. And at the end of the day, I think there were some trades from the Yankees that I didn't necessarily love, but then there was trades from the Yankees that scares me a little bit for the Jays. I look at the Padres. The Padres, I think, had an unbelievable deadline. I think they knocked it out of the park. And so I guess it's tough to compare the Jays to any of those teams because the Jays were looking for very different things. I think Ty France is just, he doesn't do it for me. He doesn't move the needle. We got 3 pitchers. Yeah, pretty much. They may figure that Santander comes back and helps Manoah maybe factoring into the bullpen. France just keeps Vladdy fresh. Santander, I think Santander's probably toast for the season. I know they said he could come back late. I just don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. Just with the timeline, him still not throwing, not doing anything, I'm pretty worried about that. Jackson says 3+ deadline. Nothing was great. It was all interesting. I don't know. I think it was, again, I don't think it's terrible. Like I'm seeing some of the grades you guys are giving out here. And I don't think, like somebody said, D+. I don't think it's a D+. I don't think it's an F. I don't think this is a failed deadline. I just look at it as, did you now get over the hump to be a World Series contender? And that's what everybody's trying to do at the trade deadline. The couple moves that put you over the edge to be a World Series contender. And I got to be realistic here. I don't know that these moves push me to that level. Do I think that they can help succeed going through the season? Absolutely. I think they're going to help this team. They made this team better. So I don't know if I'm have to judge this trade deadline, and me and Carter will get into it more. I have still a lot of things that I want to look into, obviously, on all of these guys. On Varland stuff, I want to see what his pitches do, all of this. So I'm going to, probably do a deep dive tonight. That will probably take the majority of my evening. And Shane Bieber, sort of what's the timeline? It all looks good right now. Ty France, I mean, I don't know. You guys are all bringing up Ty France. He's Ty France. I don't know. We can't expect him to do anything major, right? So it is what it is. And I think the payment, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Will Wagner being gone. I don't know how I feel about Alan Roden being gone. And these were pieces that I said early on, I was okay with them moving on from if it was these bigger moves. But you get rid of Will Wagner for catching depth. You get rid of Roden for these moves. And do we not have guys already in the system or already on this team that are maybe doing more than what might Ty France bring? That's sort of where I'm at. Are we going to take away playing time from other guys to give now to Ty France for this? I don't know, right? Like with the way Joey Loperfido, Nathan Lucas, all of these guys are playing, are you comfortable giving Ty France more playing time because of that? If it isn't a DH role or is it first and you're moving guys around, whatever it may be. George Springer's going to come back sooner rather than later. Alejandro Kirk is coming back sooner rather than later. Dalton Varsho's coming back sooner rather than later. All these guys, you are getting a lot of pieces and bats coming back. I'm a little concerned. I'm not absolutely devastated. And I think that I don't want anybody taking that away from what I'm talking about here. This is my immediate right after the deadline reactions. So you're going to get what you get, right? I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm feeling. I'm not going to pull any punches. I don't think this is a deadline that blows you away. I don't think this is a move that blows you away. I just think it's all right. Yeah, 98, 99 fastball. I think he's even a touch higher than that as well. So, yeah, he's got some gas. Jay's got 3 pitchers. Jay's improved sustainably on a first-place team. Yeah, I think they're good. All of these improvements were fantastic. And I don't know, there are a lot of fans sort of going both ways. There are some that absolutely love this deadline and think this team is going to be fantastic moving forward. There are some that think this was a horrible decision by this front office. This was a horrible deadline. I'm somewhere right in the middle. I don't think this blows anybody away. I don't think it should. I think the Bieber move out of everything was unbelievable. I like the Sir Anthony Dominguez trade a ton. And even this trade, Varland and again, Ty France to me is a throw in. I think Varland to me is the main piece of this because you did need that extra bullpen guy. So I think all of these moves were good. And I'm just going to bring in Carter here, who's ready. Carter, we got a ton of comments coming in, my guy. I've been trying to get to a few of them, but then I get on tangents and start talking about this, that, and the other thing, of course. What'd you think of this trade? You're looking good, by the way.
Yeah, again, not the greatest setup of all time. Last time we had the wilderness setup. Now we got the homestead. We got my childhood room that we're coming up for this edition of Locked On Blue Jays here. But Ty France, that one's not really going to excite me too much. Hasn't really been a prominent MLB player for a couple of years now. I guess you throw him in against lefties. Hasn't really hit home runs. Off the bench bat, a guy that kind of just a throw in a little bit here for this one. But Louis Varland, a guy that's under team control until 2031, another fireballer in this Toronto Blue Jays bullpen, sits 98 regularly. So when you look at the Toronto Blue Jays and just where their bullpen stands right now, they have a pretty good bullpen. It's just now you look across the division. And as we were kind of looking at how this trade deadline unfolded, I'm not sure exactly what you went over on this live stream up to this point. But when they get David Bednar, you get Camilo Doval. On the other side, you get Jake Bird going to the New York Yankees. Louis Varland's great. Don't get me wrong. Sir Anthony Dominguez, very good as well. And then Shane Bieber. It's not a bad trade deadline whatsoever. But if we're looking across from the AL East, you might think the Yankees did maybe a little bit more to add to their bullpen. But I don't think we're in a bad spot, especially like when we regard how good the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen was before these additions.
Yeah, Carter, and that's sort of what I was talking about. Was I guess I was trying to let everybody know sort of how I feel, just not on this trade, but I guess just a quick in general out of everything that happened, because there's a lot of people that are saying this was a horrible deadline and the Blue Jays needed to do more. Then there are other people on the other end that are saying, hey, this is pretty solid, and I'm sort of just below that. I think it's not. I'm not blown away. I'm not ecstatic. I don't think this was an A+ trade deadline. But really, out of everything, and I talked to everybody listening so far about this, but really, Sir Anthony Dominguez, I think very solid bullpen arm. I really like that move. Shane Bieber, great bullpen, great move. Might be your number one in the playoffs. So great move. I absolutely love it. If he can come back with a vengeance after the Tommy John, great move. Varland, I think is another very strong bullpen piece, like you said, with team control. I think this is a good move. Ty France, to me, might just be a little bit of a throw-in bench bat. I really could care less about him. I think there are guys in this team that can do just as much, if not more, than what he does. So I think this just is another option play for the Blue Jays. I just don't know what option that would come in, really, because you're going to want Barger in the lineup. You're going to want Springer. You're going to want Varsho when he's back. You're going to want some of these other guys. So then where do you even play Ty France? You don't play him at one, obviously. You might not be able to DH him because Springer might be your DH. I just don't know how this fits. I think it's more of just a spot platoon thing for the Jays more than anything.
He's just going to be like that 26 guy. He's going to be Daniel Vogelback from last season. He's going to be the guy that just doesn't really necessarily have a role. Again, can come in as a off the bench bat. You're not really getting a ton from him defensively. He can play first base, so I guess you do have that. Maybe you want to give Vladdy an off day. Maybe you do DH him a few times. I'm not going to be over the moon if you're DHing Ty France in the year of 2025. But I think with the since they moved on from Alan Roden, they moved on from Will Wagner, that does open up a few spots on this roster. Again, with Davis Schneider there, that's another guy that he would directly be competing for playing time with. So you're not going to like that too much with Ty France competing with your boy Davis Schneider. But I think this was more of the Blue Jays didn't necessarily want Ty France. It was one of those things where it's like, hey, we're the Twins. We don't want Ty France anymore. We want to get this guy off of our roster. So unless you want to throw in another couple prospects, maybe a higher tier prospect, I think that was kind of like a throw in on the Twins move just to kind of get him off of their roster. But I don't think like Ty France is still serviceable. He's not like
he's still an MLB player
whatsoever. Yes, he can still help this team out for sure. I just think his role is going to be every 3 days, and he might just hit against the left-handed pitchers you see once in a while.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I know, you know what? I thank you guys because you know what? Some of you, I was a little bit unsure what to think coming into this live stream because I was trying to take in everything that has happened from other teams to our team to the moves that were made to players that have left to players that joined in. Who goes where? I got one comment asking me what's going to happen now with Alec Manoah when he comes back. What's going to happen with all these guys? I think that's a non-starter here when you're talking in Jays land. Because right now you're playing your best players with this team moving into trying to compete for a World Series. It's, hey, who's got it right now? Right? Does Jose Barrios have it? Okay, then we're going to go Jose Barrios. Does Kevin Gausman have it? Great. Kevin Gausman, you get game 2. Does Bieber play unbelievable? Well, game 1 starter. There you go. Does Alec Manoah come back with a vengeance? I don't think so. But if he does that, there you go. You got another guy and you make moves according to that. Me and Carter were on this all season long last year of ride the hot hand, play who's hot. And what that developed into with this team is this more of a platoon baseball team, right? Hey, Ernie Clement's playing really good. Move him to 1, let him hit, lead off. Hey, Nathan Lucas has been able to do this consistently. Put him at lead off, let him do it until he stops being hot. Great. And I think that's sort of the way this entire team, Jay's team, is going, not just in the bullpen, not just in the players, but even in the starters, it looks like, because you're gonna get Bowden Francis back eventually. You're gonna get Alec Manoah back eventually. Then you have Max Scherzer, you got Barrios, Bassett, Gausman, and now Bieber. They have a lot of options. Now, what is this all going to lead to? Who moves over to a bullpen role? We're going to have to talk about all this, obviously, on the episode tomorrow. And I wish I could stick around here longer with you guys and just chalk this all up. Me and Carter have a baseball game to get to, and I was supposed to be left 20 minutes ago. But I did say if anything would happen, I would come on here and give you guys my thoughts and opinions. And you guys are welcome to agree or disagree with however I feel. And I'm sorry I couldn't give you a little bit more of a one way or the other way. I'm either super excited or super mad about this deadline. But I think at the end of the day, this is fine. I think this puts the Blue Jays overall in a better position. But it doesn't make me think that now they're a World Series favorite. I'll leave it at that, I guess, Carter. Any last words from you before we kick out of here?
Yeah, you look around the league, you look at the trade deadline, you could definitely say that other teams made some bigger moves than the Toronto Blue Jays, but that's not to discredit the Toronto Blue Jays. They still had a good deadline going into this trade deadline. We wanted a starting pitcher, a guy with some upside. We definitely got that. You got 2 bullpen arms. You got Ty France. I mean, we did say, hey, maybe another bat. They did get another bat. We didn't really put too much emphasis on that, but that's what the Toronto Blue Jays did. They went out and they got 4 different guys. Looking at the bullpen, you roll out Jeff Hoffman, you roll out Jimmy Garcia when he comes back, Nick Sandlin when he comes back, Brandon Little. Now you have Seranthony Dominguez, you have Louis Varland, you have Yariel Rodriguez. So there's a ton of options. Braden Fisher, if you can bring him up, Mason Fluharty. That might be the only thing is that who do you throw against left-handers? But that is the situation that we will definitely be discussing on tomorrow's podcast. We'll be encompassing the entire trade deadline, going over every single move, probably focusing a little bit more on this Louis Varland and Ty France deal because it just did come out. But we are excited to bring you guys all this trade deadline content. And this is kind of the squad that we're going to be rolling throughout August, throughout September, and hopefully into October with some playoff baseball. But Braden, yeah, that's all I got. We got a baseball game to kind of get out here. You're not even in the place where the baseball game is going. At least I came to town earlier. You're still an hour away. So we are going to take off. Be sure to tune in to the podcast again tomorrow. We appreciate all of you guys tuning into the live streams, the shorts, the reels, whatever we do post. And we're excited to be back with you guys again tomorrow morning.